The chandelier light dances across the polished silverware at La Maison, one of the city's most exclusive restaurants, where wealth and privilege hum in the air. I step through the heavy glass doors, my navy dress understated but elegant, expecting to join my husband Adam's family for dinner. The maitre d', a man with a crisp bow tie, barely glances at me before shaking his head. "I'm sorry, madam, but there's no reservation under your name." I blink, thrown off. That's impossible. I was invited to dinner with my husband's family. They should be here. He offers a polite but firm smile. I just checked. There's a reservation for 6 under Morgan Sinclair, but I'm afraid. A sharp voice cuts through. "Oh, Claire." Morgan, my mother-in-law, stands a few feet away, her platinum blonde hair gleaming, her designer gown a stark contrast to my simple attire. Her smile drips with amusement. "Did you really think I'd include you in tonight's dinner?" I turn, my stomach twisting. Behind her, Adam sits stiffly at a round table, his gaze darting between us, uncomfortable but silent. His sisters, Charlotte and Emma, whisper to each other, smirking behind their wine glasses. The humiliation should burn, but I force my voice to stay calm. "I don't understand." Morgan's smile widens. "Oh, sweetheart, I didn't think you'd actually come." She chuckles, as if I've done something quaint. "This is a family dinner. A place like this is, well, a bit out of your league, don't you think? Maybe a budget restaurant suits you better." Charlotte snickers. Emma avoids my gaze. Adam grips his fork, saying nothing. The judgment in the air is thick, other guests' curious glances flicking toward us. I should have seen this coming. For years, Morgan has made it clear I'm not good enough for her son. I didn't grow up with old money, didn't attend elite schools, didn't inherit privilege. From our engagement, she's reminded me I don't belong, subtle jabs about my simple tastes, forgotten invitations, empty smiles instead of gifts. But tonight, she's escalated, orchestrating a public exclusion, and she's savoring every second. The shame should crush me, but something clicks. I smile, slow and deliberate, watching Morgan's expression falter for a split second. "Would you be so kind as to ask the owner to come out?" I ask the maitre d', my voice smooth. Morgan laughs. "Oh, please. Do you really think the owner of this place will come out just because you asked?" I meet her gaze evenly. "Yes. Because he knows me very well." Her smirk holds, but a flicker of doubt crosses her eyes. She's spent years treating me like an outsider, but tonight, she's pushed too far. The air grows heavy with anticipation as I stand my ground. Lena, my friend from my hospitality days, watches from a nearby table, her presence a quiet anchor. Morgan's about to learn a lesson she'll never forget. The restaurant's tension clings to me, Morgan's cruel smile burned into my mind. As I wait for the maitre d' to fetch Daniel, memories flood in, pulling me back to the years of exclusion that led to this moment. The polished marble under my feet feels like the cold hardwood of Morgan's mansion, where I stood 3 years ago, newly engaged to Adam, hoping for acceptance. Such a quaint dress, Morgan had said at our engagement party, her tone slicing through my excitement. She'd forgotten to invite my family, leaving me alone among her elite guests. Adam had shrugged it off. "She's just particular," he'd said, his first of many silences. I'd swallowed my hurt, telling myself I could win her over. Another memory, Christmas, 2 years back. Morgan gifted Adam a Rolex, while I received a cookbook titled Simple Recipes for the Clueless Wife, presented with a laugh in front of her friends. "Something to keep you busy," she'd said. Adam had chuckled, avoiding my eyes. I'd forced a smile, the book's weight a reminder of my place. Lena's voice echoes from a call last year. "She's never going to accept you, Claire," she'd said over coffee, her bluntness a comfort. Lena, who worked with me in fine dining before I married Adam, saw Morgan's tactics clearly. "You're a threat because you're self-made. Don't let her dim you." I'd nodded, but part of me still hoped Adam would defend me. Last summer, at a family barbecue, Morgan had mused loudly, "How fortunate you are, Claire, that Adam took a chance on you." Charlotte and Emma had giggled, Adam sipped his beer, and I'd burned with shame. Each slight chipped away at me, yet I stayed, believing love meant enduring. Adam's silence, though, hurt more than Morgan's words. I blink, back in La Maison, the maitre d' still gone. Lena's gaze meets mine from her table, her nod a reminder of her warning. She'd urged me to protect my assets when I funded Adam's investments, advice I'd followed quietly. Those choices, made in the shadow of Morgan's disdain, are about to change everything. Morgan's stunt tonight isn't new, it's the culmination of years of calculated exclusion, now public for maximum impact. But I'm not the naive bride anymore. I built a life beyond her world, one she knows nothing about. The memory of my first job under Daniel surfaces, long nights learning hospitality, his praise fueling my drive. That Claire, resilient and ambitious, is who stands here now. Adam's silence at the table mirrors every moment he's let Morgan's cruelty slide. I've excused it, blaming his loyalty to family, but tonight, I see it clearly, he's chosen her over me, every time. Lena's words ring again, "You're stronger than this, Claire." She's right. I've carried their doubts too long. The restaurant's hum returns, guests whispering, Morgan's smirk faltering as she senses a shift. My navy dress feels like armor, my posture steady. Daniel's arrival is moments away, and with it, the chance to turn Morgan's game against her. I've spent years trying to belong in her world. Tonight, I'll show her mine. The restaurant's air crackles with tension, Morgan's smirk still sharp as she stands by her family's table, savoring my supposed defeat. The maitre d' hesitates, unsure whether to fetch the owner, when a deep voice cuts through. "Claire?" Daniel Lyon, owner of La Maison, steps into view. In his early 50s, with salt and pepper hair and a tailored suit, he exudes refined confidence. His warm smile, directed at me, shifts the room's dynamic. Morgan's eyes widen, her certainty flickering. "Daniel," I say, my smile widening. "It's been a while." His gaze sweeps over Morgan, Adam, and his sisters, then returns to me. "What brings you here tonight?" I gesture toward the table, my tone light. Apparently, I wasn't included in the reservation. A bit of an oversight, wouldn't you say? Daniel's eyes darken, catching the subtext, but his smile remains polite. "That won't do at all." Morgan scoffs, crossing her arms. "Oh, please. Do you really think this restaurant can just find a seat for her? This is a private dining establishment." Daniel's expression stays unreadable. "You're absolutely right, Mrs. Sinclair. We don't accept last-minute walk-ins." A pang of disappointment hits, but before I can respond, he turns to the maitre d'. "But Claire is not a walk-in. She's family." The table freezes. Charlotte's glass nearly slips, Emma's eyes dart between us, and Adam's grip tightens on his fork, still silent. Morgan laughs, disbelieving. "Family? You must be mistaken. Claire is my son's wife, and I assure you." Daniel and I go way back, I interrupt smoothly. Morgan narrows her eyes. "How?" I lean forward, my voice carrying to nearby tables. "Before I married Adam, I worked in fine dining. Daniel was my mentor." Silence settles, heavy and stunned. Morgan opens her mouth, but Daniel cuts in, his smile cool. "Claire isn't just a former employee. She trained under me fresh out of culinary school. I taught her hospitality and high-end service. She was one of my best students." Morgan's jaw tightens, her plan unraveling. I turn to the maitre d'. "I assume Daniel's word is enough to find me a seat." He straightens, nodding. "Of course, Ms. Claire. I'll have a table prepared." A waiter hurries to set a place next to Adam, who avoids my gaze. Lena, at her table, grins subtly, her presence a quiet cheer. Morgan's face reddens, her control slipping. "This is ridiculous," she hisses. I meet her glare, unflinching. "Looks like there's plenty of room after all." Daniel pats my shoulder. "I'll have the chef send something special, Claire." On the house. Morgan nearly chokes, her rage palpable. I take my seat, the weight of nearby guests' whispers amplifying her embarrassment. Lena's nod across the room grounds me. Morgan thought she could break me, but she's just handed me the stage to show who I really am. The clink of silverware and murmurs of La Maison's guests fade as I settle into my seat, Morgan's fury radiating across the table. Her plan to humiliate me has backfired, but the victory feels hollow with Adam's silence beside me. His fork hovers over his plate, his eyes fixed on nothing. I sip my wine, the cool glass grounding me as memories of our marriage surface, each one sharpening my resolve. For years ago, in our tiny apartment, I'd handed Adam a check, my savings from years in hospitality, to fund his first investment. "You're sure?" he'd asked, his excitement palpable. "We're a team," I'd said, believing it. His venture succeeded, but he never mentioned my role, letting Morgan boast about her son's brilliance. I'd stayed quiet, hoping he'd acknowledge me. He didn't. Another memory, our wedding rehearsal dinner, where Morgan forgot to invite my family. Adam had shrugged. "It's just one night, Claire." I'd swallowed my hurt, telling myself he'd stand up to her eventually. But each slight, Morgan's cookbook gift, her snide remarks, met his silence. I'd excused it, blaming his loyalty to family, but tonight, his inaction feels like betrayal. Lena's voice echoes from a recent call. "You're carrying this marriage, Claire," she'd said, her bluntness a wake-up call. "You funded his empire. Don't let them erase you." Lena, who worked with me under Daniel, knows my worth. Her glance from across the restaurant now, fierce and proud, bolsters me. She'd urged me to protect my assets, advice I'd followed by never transferring ownership of my investments to Adam. Morgan's voice cuts through, mocking. "Hospitality must suit you, Claire. Waiting tables, wasn't it?" Charlotte snickers, Emma shifts uncomfortably, and Adam remains mute. The words sting, but they also clarify. I've spent years trying to fit into their world, dimming my light to avoid conflict. No more. I set my glass down, my reflection sharp in the polished table. My navy dress, chosen for understated elegance, feels like a shield. Daniel's praise, calling me family, reminds me of who I was before Morgan's disdain, a woman who rose from nothing, mentored by one of the best in hospitality. That Claire is still here, stronger than they know. Lena's nod across the room feels like a signal. She's seen me weather Morgan's cruelty, watched me build a life despite it. Her support, Daniel's warmth, and my own resilience form a foundation Morgan can't touch. Adam's silence, though, is the final fracture. I've waited for him to choose me, to be the partner I believed in. Tonight, I see he never will. Morgan leans forward, her smile venomous. "You must feel so special, Claire, with your little restaurant connections." Her words are meant to cut, but they bounce off me. I meet her gaze, my voice steady. "I am special, Morgan. More than you'll ever understand." Charlotte's smirk falters, and Emma's eyes widen. Adam flinches but says nothing. The waiter places a complimentary amuse-bouche before me, Daniel's gesture of respect. I pick up my fork, the act deliberate. Morgan's about to learn the depth of her mistake. I've been the financial backbone of Adam's success, a truth she's ignored. Tonight, I'll start dismantling her narrative, not with anger, but with the quiet power of facts. I glance at Lena, her smile a promise, I'm not alone in this fight. The table is a battlefield, Morgan's eyes blazing as she grips her wine glass, her earlier triumph souring. The restaurant's hum fades, guests' whispers amplifying the tension. I sit composed, the complimentary amuse-bouche before me a symbol of Daniel's respect. Morgan's taunt hangs in the air, hospitality, Claire? Not exactly our family's caliber. Charlotte smirks, Emma shifts, and Adam stares at his plate, silent as ever. I take a slow sip of wine, letting her words settle. "You say that like it's a bad thing," I say, my voice calm but edged. Morgan's eyes flicker, surprised by my steadiness. "I simply meant," she continues, her tone saccharine, "it must be an adjustment, marrying into a family like ours. The condescension is blatant, meant to shrink me before her family and the watching guests. Adam's silence cuts deeper than her words. I glance at him, his knuckles wide around his fork, and see every moment he's let her cruelty pass, our wedding, Christmas, countless slights. Lena's gaze from across the room, fierce and unwavering, anchors me. She knows what I've carried, what I'm about to unleash. You think I'm just a waitress who got lucky, I say, my voice carrying to nearby tables. But let me tell you something, Morgan. I lean forward, deliberate. Adam's business, his investments, half of them were funded with my money. The table freezes. Charlotte's glass pauses midair, Emma's mouth parts, and Adam goes pale. Morgan's smile drops, her world tilting. What? She whispers, voice tight. I smile, no warmth in it. When Adam wanted to start investing, he didn't have the capital. I did. I gesture at the table, my tone steady. His success, your precious family name, it's built on my investments, my strategies, my support. Morgan's fingers twitch, her napkin crumpling. That's not possible. I shrug. Believe what you want. But I have the paperwork to prove it. Charlotte and Emma look to Adam, but he's frozen, unable to confirm or deny. Lena's subtle grin across the room feels like a cheer. A man at another table, a family lawyer I recognize, takes note, his pen moving discreetly. Morgan recovers, her voice sharp. You're playing pretend at a career, Claire, supported by my son. I laugh, genuine and clear, startling her. That's adorable, Morgan. You think Adam supports me? I arch a brow. He needs me far more than I need him. The words land like stones. Emma suppresses a gasp, Charlotte's smirk vanishes, and Adam flinches, still silent. You've spent years trying to make me feel small, I continue, my voice steady. But I've been the one keeping this marriage afloat. Morgan's face reddens, her control unraveling. You're delusional, she hisses. I pick up my fork, cutting into the amuse-bouche with practiced ease. No, Morgan. I'm done letting you rewrite my story. The lawyer's pen pauses, guests lean closer, and Lena's nod is a quiet triumph. Morgan's fury is palpable, but she's cornered. You should be careful who you look down on, I say, my voice low, just for her. You never know who might end up above you. I take a bite, savoring the dish and the silence that follows. Adam's head bows, Charlotte and Emma exchange wary glances, and Morgan's knuckles whiten. For the first time, she looks small, her power crumbling before the truth I've laid bare. The table is suffocating, Morgan's rage a tangible force as she clutches her wine glass, my revelation, Adam's success built on my money, hanging heavy. The restaurant's murmurs grow, guests stealing glances, the family lawyer at another table jotting notes. I sit composed, the taste of Daniel's amuse-bouche lingering, a reminder of my worth. Adam's silence, though, is the loudest presence. His fork lies untouched, his eyes fixed on the tablecloth, avoiding mine. Morgan tries to regain control, her voice tight. You're making a scene, Claire. This is a family matter. I smile, unflinching. You made it public, Morgan, when you left me off the reservation. Charlotte shifts uncomfortably, Emma's eyes dart to Adam, who remains mute. His cowardice, stark under the chandelier light, confirms what I've long feared, he's never been on my side. I think of Lena's warning last month, Adam's weakness will break you if you let it. She'd seen his passivity, urged me to protect myself. I had, securing my investments, keeping ownership of the penthouse. Tonight, that foresight feels like salvation. Morgan's stunt, meant to humiliate me, has instead exposed Adam's betrayal. I set my napkin down, the movement deliberate. Adam, I say, my voice firm, you made your choice when you sat there and let her do this. His head jerks up, eyes wide, but no words come. Morgan's smile returns, triumphant, thinking she's won. He knows his place, she says, her tone venomous. Unlike you. Lena's gaze across the room, fierce and steady, bolsters me. I stand, smoothing my navy dress. Daniel, I call, turning to the owner, who watches from a polite distance. Thank you for your hospitality. He nods, amused. Always a pleasure, Claire. I look at Adam, giving him one last chance. You coming? He hesitates, glancing at Morgan, then back at me. In that moment, I know, he's never chosen me, and he won't now. Morgan's smirk widens. I smile back, calm and certain. Goodbye, Adam. I turn, walking toward the exit, my heels clicking on the marble. Lena rises from her table, following me out, her presence a quiet strength. Outside, the cool night air brushes my skin, sharpening my clarity. I pull out my phone, texting my attorney, initiate the process tomorrow. The response is immediate, understood. Divorce settlement draft by noon. I exhale, the word divorce not a weight but a release. Morgan and Adam think they've won, but they've only pushed me to reclaim my power. Lena catches up, her voice warm. You were incredible in there. I nod, my resolve solidifying. I'm done waiting for him to show up. She squeezes my arm. You never needed him, Claire. You built this life. Her words echo Daniel's praise, my own strength, the contracts I hold. Morgan's cruelty, Adam's silence, they've freed me to choose myself. Back at home, before Adam returns, I move with purpose. In the home office, I open the safe. Adam never changed the passcode, a careless mistake. Inside, the contract tying his top investment to my initial funding glints like a weapon. I snap a photo, returning it untouched. I don't need to take it, my lawyer has copies. In the bedroom, I pack a suitcase, each item a step toward freedom. When Adam walks in, I'm on the couch, suitcase beside me. Claire, what are you doing? His voice trembles, eyes on the suitcase. I stand, calm. Leaving. You made your choice at the restaurant, letting your mother humiliate me. Again. He rubs his neck, flustered. It's complicated, Claire. You know how she is. I laugh, sharp. No, Adam. You're weak. His eyes flash, but the truth lands. There's nothing left to talk about, I say, brushing past him. At the door, I pause, my smile cold. I'll be at the penthouse. The one I own. His confusion is the last thing I see as I walk out, ready to dismantle the life he thought he controlled. The penthouse's floor-to-ceiling windows frame the city's glittering skyline, a stark contrast to the home I left hours ago. I sit on a sleek sofa, suitcase unpacked, a glass of champagne in hand. The contract photo on my phone, proof I funded Adam's empire, glows like a trophy. Morgan's humiliation at La Maison feels distant now, replaced by the clarity of my next steps. Adam's voice echoes from our confrontation earlier. If you think you're walking away with half, you're mistaken, he'd said, his face darkening as I stood by the door. I'd smiled, tossing an envelope onto the counter. You should read your contracts, Adam. He'd opened it, hands shaking, to find the ownership document, 51% of his investment firm in my name. This says you own the majority, he'd stammered. Correct, I'd replied. I was the initial investor. You assumed I transferred it. You assumed wrong. His panic had been palpable. You can't take this from me, he'd pleaded. I'm not taking anything, I'd said. I already own it. I'd left him staggered, the man who let Morgan humiliate me now powerless. The penthouse, bought with my savings, was never his, a fact my lawyer confirmed today. My phone buzzes, Lena, checking in. You okay? She texts. Better than ever, I reply. Her support, Daniel's respect, and my own resilience have carried me here. I think of Sophie, a young hospitality worker I've been mentoring, who reminds me of myself at 20, driven but doubted by her family. Yesterday, I reviewed her event planning proposal, her talent raw but promising. They think I'm wasting my degree, she'd said. Show them they 1025 them wrong, I'd told her, seeing myself in her fight. Mentoring her feels like reclaiming my own past.